Merry meet witchlings, welcome back to the channel. It's the Twisted Witch, Midnight Moonsong here, and it's been a while. So, as you can see by the title, today I am doing the Void video. I know lots of people have been waiting for this. People both have commented and actually told me in real life that they're waiting for it, so I am so sorry that it's been forever. But when I initially was making it, I couldn't get the script to work right. I was trying to cover just far too much, and I ended up deciding to split it into 3 videos, and that has worked so well. And I did initially record this video, but my phone that I recorded everything on bugged out, and footage was lost. So, I finally had time to record it, and I'm doing it. Oh, this video has taken so long. I am so sorry. Now, I want to start off by saying that there is a lot about the Void that's cultural based. The Void is a subject that has been all over the world in a wide variety of cultures with many different people's own variations and spins on it. So I'm not going to cover really anything much cultural based. I might mention something in passing to kind of make a point. But I encourage people who belong to those cultures to do their own research and come to their own conclusions with the space of void in that culture. So understand that if you are going to ask questions and stuff in the comment about void magic, that's fine. But if it is a cultural based question that ties in directly to like a specific way of belief or a specific kind of people, I'm not going to touch on it. Now, what is the void? Well, and I'm sorry, I looked down because I have my notes here, so. The void is a place that all energy and magic is born. And some believe it's the place that everything will go back to once we eventually die. Now, that last part is definitely changes on belief from person to person, and the void itself is something that's very indescribable. People can do their best to describe it in a sense, but the full complexity of what it is, it can't really be put into words. The best way that I can describe it would be the fullest, emptiest space. And I know that sounds kind of ridiculous and somewhat of a contradiction, but that's what comes with the void, unfortunately. So it is what it is. Now, I have an analogy to kind of help explain it, and this was something I heard a long time ago on a forum. That site no longer exists, so I can't even link it, but it goes like this. I call it the empty bucket explanation. So if you took a bucket and filled it with water, and water specifically, and you were to sit in front of someone and ask them, is this bucket empty or full? They would say full. And now let's say you take the bucket and you dump it out in front of them. You set the bucket back down and you say, okay, now is it empty or full? Most of the time they'll say empty. Well, one, they're wrong, because the rim of the bucket still has the residue from the water. So let's say you let that sit out in the sun for a little bit until it's dry. And then you ask the person, okay, now, is it empty or full? And they say, it's empty. Well, they'd still be wrong. Because what happens to water? Simple science, that you should have learned already, will tell you that water evaporates. It goes into the air and becomes a gas. That gas, that air, is still there. It hasn't left. It's still there. It's in the bucket. It's just in a different form. And that's essentially kind of what the void is. Everything exists within it, but within it it's almost like a great nothing. And like I said, that is the closest you can get to words into really describing it. Because it is such an infinite thing and concept that you have to interact with it to fully understand it. And with that brings me to my next point. Names. void actually goes by many names, and many people interact with it in these different ways associated with, these various names. The void is probably one of the most common that I've heard, but there's also the abyss, the empty, the great nothing, the other, the after realm. There's a whole world of different names, and so most people, when they hear one of these, the abyss, they don't always connect it to the void, which is really funny to me, because I think Hollywood's painted that picture of the abyss as being something very Hellion, and the void really isn't Hellion. The void itself really has no deities. Like I said, it's not even a place that spirits are. It's a place of, at risk of sounding kind of terrible, instability. There's no stable surface really in the void. The void, like I said, is an infinite thing. It's just kind of there. And to most people it does appear dark, it appears black. And if you go online, you research people's meditations that go into the void and stuff like that, and what they've seen, they range so wildly from some light world, actually, and having everything happening at once, all the thoughts, all the feelings, everything there ever was, having an all right there, to having nothing happen, and having that silence beyond silence, and that emptiness being so overwhelming to the senses and stuff. There's a wide variety of it. Some people are afraid of the void, and some people aren't afraid of it at all, and it really depends on you as a person, how you interact with the void. Now, it's kind of hard to do research on the void, I've noticed. I've done research on it, I've read some things about it, I've talked to a lot of other people about the void, and that's where a lot of my good knowledge came from, was a lot of people who work with it. It's definitely something that is passed down through words a lot, and I'm not saying there isn't sources out there, there are some really good sources, but it can be kind of hard to find, because most of the magic with the void is very personal. It's with you, and how your mind works and how your spirituality works will affect what happens in the void and how the void is presented to you. So it's something that's going to, for that reason, be very, very hard to find. I think because people like that finite, this is what things are explanation, to research something that's infinite can definitely be difficult for them to understand. But that's why I want to make this video, because I wanted to give you all a sort of basic, I guess, how to kind of start your own void work, so that those of you who want to put pages in your grimoire or something like that will have something. Now, like I said, research can be really hard, but it is there though, and you just kind of have to do a lot more deep digging to find it. I know Aleister Crowley wrote a book on it. His is The Abyss. I'm not as big into his book, because it is well known that Aleister Crowley is like a occult icon, but there is a lot of stuff he wrote and claimed he believed just for the sake of shock value, and not really because he actually claimed it or believed it. So I don't know exactly why, like, if he believes fully in what he wrote in The Abyss, but if you're a huge follower of Crowley, I would definitely check that out. There's Thomas Chaote, I think. I know I'm butchering that, but just pronouncing it. Chaote, I believe is how it's spelled. He wrote a book on the void magic, and it's free to download. You just type in Void Magic by Thomas Chaote, and you can find it easily for download. I downloaded it onto my phone, and I was reading it, so it was originally on his Tumblr, I believe, and then he put it into a downloadable form. He's really good. He explains a lot, but he's also does a lot of things from the point of view of a chaos practitioner. And not everybody works through the void with chaos magic. There's a lot of people that kind of place void magic as a step up from chaos magic, but there's people that don't. So if you're into chaos magic, I would definitely check out his words on it. And I have pulled from him. There are some things that I do believe that coincide more, certain things with what he does, but not always. For instance, stuff like correspondence and that is going to be very, very personal. That's not really anything set. Because the void is such an infinite space, there's nothing that's really going to be set, or very few things that are going to be set. There are some consensus on basic correspondence that I will get into in another video. But that brings me to this next part, the uses. There are two main uses that I found for I can't speak. Uses for the physical and uses for the mental. And those are going to be the two other videos. I'm going to do one video on physical and one video on mental. Now, when you do void magic, it's best to have a specific mindset. You don't need this mindset, but void magic tends to come easier to those who have it. And this mindset basically is something more akin to, in nothing there is everything, within the void anything is possible. And then some people hear that, they immediately think, oh, that's just an excuse for people who want the fantasy aspect of things to be able to believe it. And that's not entirely true. Because even though within anything's possible, there still exists a design within our reality, within our realm. Nature's design is still a thing. It is still here, and it's still very, very much part of everything. It's part of the grand overall. Just because you believe in one thing and use void magic for it doesn't mean it's going to work with the design. And so if that's the case, the design itself will shape and remake that desire to follow it. A good example of this would be the one that was given to me. If someone wants wings, someone wants people to be able to grow wings, that seems completely impossible because our physical makeup is not designed to have wings. Our bodies are too heavy, our bones are far, far too heavy. Our wings themselves, if we were to have them, they would be enormously massive just to pick us up off the ground. Our body shape has everything to do with it too. There's just so much stacked against us. So how could we grow wings? Well, maybe millions of years down the road, human beings will evolve to somehow need wings. So just because we can't have wings here in the now doesn't mean we won't have them later. I mean, there's no way for people to completely predict 100% what's going to happen down the road. There's just no way. So it could happen. But like I said, nature has its design. And so in nature's design, things like mutations and stuff like that, something of that big nature, 'cause I know there's mutations that do just happen naturally with birth, but something as extravagant as having wings and being able to use them, well, that would definitely take probably millions of years for our bodies to fully evolve into actually needing them. So that's what I mean. Nature's design is still a thing. And it's not any reason for people to think something can't happen. It's just that nature has its own way of doing stuff. And it will take that desire and do it within its own construct. Now, if it is something that goes against natural law, it most likely won't happen. Sorry. Now, there is, I guess, a chance that somehow natural law can be reordered and changed, and again, many, many, many years later. I don't know, because I don't exist many years from now. There's no way I can know. But yeah, that in general is the mindset that comes with working with the void. In everything, there is a truth. And you take that truth and it can be molded and used in different ways depending on you, depending on where you come from, and that sort of thing. And yes, that is definitely an ominous way of looking at things. My ominous viewers out there will probably be like, hey, yeah, I understand that. then void magic might definitely be for you. Now, like I said, void can appear differently to everyone. And I'm sure some of you are asking, what do I use void magic for? Well, anything. Like I said, there's the physical and the mental that I will go into further detail on in other videos, but to do a quick little synopsis of what those are, pretty much you can use void in the mental sense to bring it into yourself, to help you figure things out. You can use it in meditations, and that sort of thing. And the physical, you can call it forth almost like another element. When you call earth, air, fire, water, and spirit, then you could also call void. And that void magic will come into your circle and stuff like that. And I will go into further detail on that. That's just a very quick how-to, to kind of, I guess, preview, not how-to. It's a quick preview to give you, to kind of know what to expect and to what to look forward to. Now, in closing, I would like to say again, there are many, many different uses for the void, many different ways people see it and work with it, and I encourage people to ask around on how they use void and how they view void and how void was brought into their life. For me, I did do research on it, and I dived as far as I could to find research on it, and then I also talked to a lot of people who had void magic. Like I said, there was a forum that is no longer there because the website actually wasn't that great. The admins were, to put things nicely, the admins didn't care what you said or did if you said it was within your belief structure. So you could make an excuse to bully people, which a lot of people did, and troll others, and generally be rotten to them and just, well, that's my way of belief, it's my path, you can't judge me. And the admins would be like, oh yeah, sure, yeah, we won't judge you, here, do what you need. And so a lot of people end up leaving that forum, and me included, and then I came back one day and it was just gone. But there was a section on the void, and a lot of people were sharing their stories and how they worked with it and what worked and what didn't and stuff like that. So there's a lot in there. Now, real quick, I want to cover, before I completely close the video out, deity. The concept of void really is about you making your own craft, you making your own self. You build yourself up, you make your own path, you make your, the way you walk is all you. Which is, and it's in that mindset that a lot of people associate it with chaos magic, because chaos magic is very, very similar to that. But the void, within the void, you can work with whatever you want and however you want. But most void practitioners, when they work with spirits and deity and stuff like that, most void practitioners use deity and stuff as partners rather than being on a pedestal above them. Most void practitioners see themselves as equal to those deities. They're just on different planes of existence. So they have partners, but they don't worship something higher than them. And like I said, not all void users believe this way. There are some that still worship deity and still work with void. It's all up to you. That's just one of the general concepts that a lot of void practitioners go by. And I mean, I sort of go by it myself. My deity are my partners. I don't view them as above me. I view us at an unequal standing. But at the same time, I do view sort of a, I guess, creator force. I don't know what else to call it. It is the essence of all things, that it created the universe and stuff like that, but it has no actual name. It has no actual physical appearance. It can sometimes just be called, I guess, nature in general, the magic of the universe, or just even the universe in general. It's just a force that can take many, many forms in any way that directly connects to you. It has no real gender. It can literally be anything. I do believe in that sort of higher power, I guess, but even that, I work with it more along the lines of a partner rather than it being a being that's above me. But that's just me. Like I said, there's no rule against otherwise, but that's just what most Void users do, because I am also a Chaos Witch, so I do have that mentality. And coming into Void Magic, a lot of Chaos Witches easily go into Void Magic and easily go into Void use. So. But that is all for today. Thank you all for being so patient and not like getting super nasty. I know a lot of you have been waiting for this, and I am so sorry it's taken me forever, but hey, here it is, I'm happy. I got the first video done. Now I'll just got to tune in for the second parts. But if you like this video, of course leave a like, comment, tell me how you work with the Void and that sort of thing. And of course subscribe, ring that bell to stay notified of my videos, and I will see you all next time. Blessed be.